All right, moving on to subassembly 2. And this time I decided not to put these together beforehand to show you, I'm doing this. I'm not sure how much prep you guys want to see versus how much prep I'm doing, but you can watch me fumble around and drop parts, and heck, I'm even willing to videotape while I'm looking for sprues. But the important part of all of this is to see, at least at this point, that, things don't always fit together perfectly. It keeps wanting to wiggle around like this. So what do we do when we have problems like that? Well, I like to try and figure out why it's doing that. And looks like because it's just a little too high. So this lip on top right here is just a little bit too tall to fit inside the slot, so then when I do get it in, the bottom still kind of sticks out. So I just trimmed a little bit off the top there. It's better, needs a little bit more taken off. Just a smidge. I mean, you could take a file and file it down too, but since I put glue on there, I'm gonna do that. So now it fits much better. And I'm gonna put some glue in here to get that going again. But if you're having problems getting this to go together, note that I'm having problems getting this to go together. Square, flat, level, happy. Now, I'm happy with this at this point right here. I don't think it's going to be a problem in the future, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. And the same thing is happening with the other parts. So this is just where, when it was designed, right here is also a little too high. So both sides are just a twitch too high. And so I'm just going to grab my file, if I can find it, and just file down each respective side, and that'll give it right here. That'll give it the clearance it needs to get under each side without causing buckling. So let's take a look at it with a little bit of that done. Much better. So normally I'd have been upset and said, well, geez, you'd think a brand new kit like this, they could do better. I think what happened is it might be a little over engineered, meaning the tolerances are so great that if there's any sort of issue with the milling or the plastic or anything like that in production, even just 1/100th of a millimeter can cause some sort of a binding. But we have the parts. That's the important thing. So once again, going from front to back, but this time with the frame flipped over, and again, paying attention. We've got glue in here from previous, so we want to make sure we don't either move parts or make fingerprints. Take a look. Right here, it's saying that this goes in this flat area in the notch right there. It fits, makes sense. So that's in front. And the same with right here. Now, just have to make sure that they are square to the frame, which they are. Looks good. All right, moving on. This piece right here is a part of dealing with these pieces right here. So what I want to do is add these on first, and they go on. So you can see there's the notch the peg right there. So that one will go on here that way. This one will go on here that way, supposedly. There we go. I felt that. Those are both in positive. And then I'm going to sit and look at this, and that looks like it all fits the way it's supposed to. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue here, put it in there, let that capillary action pull it down. So now we've basically got a 3-piece sub-assembly that's on there with some friction holding it on. I'm going to put some glue underneath there, put some glue underneath here, see what I can do, making sure that everything is square and level. And there are a few little issues here with fit. There's a gap on this side and a little bit of unevenness on this side. I would say at this point, this is not the time to deal with it. Hold off, wait till everything's dry, go back in with a little putty or a little bit of sanding to get everything flat the way you want it, and should be okay at that point. I don't know why it wouldn't. And this last part here is E18 and D1. So we're going to be putting the short end in here and then gluing this with this on the side. Now I can see the depression for that, so I want to put that there, and I want to put that in there. That'll start to give us a little bit of tackiness to work with. I'm going to punch that through the hole now because it's kind of a tight fit, and then work it in. And it's got to be pushed even further in because it doesn't fit otherwise. This can be kind of crazy, kind of difficult. People get frustrated because it doesn't fit. Instead of pushing it all the way through, maybe causing issues, just take your hobby knife, open it up a little bit, try again, still tight, there's no rush. Open it up on that side. Still a bit of a tight fit through the middle. Now, what I'm going to do is just take my knife and start scoring it out. Other people might take a drill bit and put it through there. Doesn't matter which side this is fed through, left or right. So I can put it in that way, or I can just turn it over and push it through this way, although I'm noticing now that trying to get it that way is a lot harder. So clean this out from this side. Maybe that'll help me out. And lo and behold, that does it. And I've got it flush on this side for the most part, so that's what I wanted to see. Now, I'm not expecting the glue to still be really tacky at this point. And I've got some interference from these parts that we did in the first set, but look at that. Now that I've got that on there, it's actually too far in. So I'm going to not put that all the way in. Maybe the reason I couldn't get that all the way in was because it was a stop. So before you go and ream that out, try putting it on, because you actually don't want it to be flush. You want it to be further back. Now there's a little bit of tackiness still on the frame there. That's good. Everything is set up the way that it should be. Little parts there glued. Put some extra cement on the frame there. And we've got the second sub-assembly finished.